So the Suzuki is the one that didn't have reverse, right?
It's got it, it just needs a cable adjusted on it.
Oh, okay.
It didn't tear up or nothing.
What size is it? 250?
What?
What size is a Suzuki?
250.
I don't want you to hurt yourself. Let's go. I'm gonna air the tire up and make it a lot easier.
See if one of these keys fits in there. Might be that one.
That's a truck key.
Okay, see if that will go in there.
That looks like a lawnmower key. Yeah, that's a lawnmower key.
Yeah, I don't have a key for that one.
No key.
Well, we've got one in it.
What tire's aired up? Alright, so I went ahead and moved the air box boot that goes to the back of the car, so we'll be able to spray something in there. And I found the fuel line that comes from the Petcock, because I know the gas tank is full of funkness. I can see it in there. It looks kind of brownish looking. It's actually low. It's kind of gummy down in there. Probably have to flush it out. It don't have really no gas in it though. This is not reading anything, so it's. But I would have bypassed it for right now. So I'm gonna have to pull start it. So I'm gonna pour some gas in the gas jug and I'll pull start it and we'll see where she fire up. Hopefully she will. But I don't want to be pulling this thing all day. I'd rather hit that start button, but that's not going to happen. It's not going to happen today. Let's move all our stuff, but it does crank it, don't stick it all down. Hopefully the carburetor holds the gas. Put just a little bit. Now this thing has the vacuum operated Petcock, so as the engine runs, it takes the vacuum from the carburetor into the Petcock. It's kind of like a fuel pump, and it has the primer on it where you can just put it on prime. It's kind of weird, but all right, keys on. Let's see what she's gonna do. Hopefully we get some good results. Hear the gas going in. I don't see it going out. I think it's flowing out the back of the carburetor. The floats are stuck. All right. Might actually. Man, this is gonna take. Oh, I see gas leaking from somewhere. The gas or water. What's it leaking from? I think it's leaking out of the overflow of the carburetor. It looked like the gas ran out. Woo! Choke cable works. Oh man, we got, I think it filled the whole engine up full of gas. That ain't good. Oh yeah. That carburetor's gonna have to come off, be cleaned. The floats are stuck. And I don't know if you can see that or not, but it has filled the spark plug up with gas, so the floats are stuck in the carb. So I'm gonna have to get this carb off because it didn't empty that bottle, so it's all down in the gas. I mean in the bottom end. So I'm gonna have to get that carb off, get it apart, and clean it. So that's gonna pretty much wrap it up for this one right now. Till we get the carb off. We gotta figure out what's up with the electric start. I gotta figure out what those wires do, and clean the tank out. So we'll pretty much wrap it up. I got some other things to do this evening, so we'll get back to it another day. Alright, so got a little time, and I went ahead and got the quad runner back out. As you seen in the last video, we found out it had fire to the spark plug. We found out that there were some wires that were chewed up, and we found out that the starter didn't work. So rather me just record this and run around like a chicken with my head cut off, I just went ahead and sourced out the problem, and I'll show you what I found. So we're gonna start at the key switch. Now right here at the key switch, this black and white wire here our little furry friend had pulled it out of this connector. It's supposed to be in there so it can go over to this black and white wire. So I just tapped into it. That's where it was chewed off at. So we got that going. Alright, still didn't have no start. So while I was at it, I went ahead and added a fuse here. A fuse link that I had laying around, because this was chewed up. So I added a fuse link. I fixed the headlights, both of them. So now it's got headlights. That's low, that's high. Wait a minute, we're not done yet. I fixed the tail lights because the wires were chewed up to them. I mean, they just had a feast with this thing. I pulled the wheels off so I can check all the wire harness going to the neutral safety switch. It does have oil, but it's gonna need an oil change. It's just got a lot of gas in it. So we'll get new oil filter, new oil. I'm gonna push it out there while I got all the wheels and tires off, and I'm gonna pressure wash the engine, try and clean up a little bit. You can see it's moldy. So back to the wiring. We didn't have a neutral light, so now we got a neutral light. I found out that the neutral switch is right here, and the reverse switch is right over in here where this wire is. So now we got reverse, but I still didn't have a neutral light. So I started at the bulb. As you can see, the bulb is good. This harness right here comes from the neutral switch. It's just 3 wires and it ties into the reverse switch. So there's a wire shorted somewhere. It's supposed to be a ground, I believe, because we had continuity up here to the neutral light, but we didn't have a ground. So if I take this wire off without jumping it, the neutral light goes out, we don't have no start. And if I stick it back in there, neutral light's on. I gotta get a good connection. Every time I move my hand, it goes out. Come on, neutral light. Now we got start. I got the spark plug out, so that's why it sounds like it's no compression. But so now we got start, but like I was saying, some reason there's a wire somewhere in the harness, a ground that's not making, or the neutral safety switch is bad. I'm gonna put my money on that neutral safety switch because I had to bypass it here in this harness to get it to go to neutral so it'll crank. I don't even think it'll go out of neutral if I put it in gear. Yeah. Well, that tells me that the neutral switch is working. So it's got to be a wire somewhere in the harness that's been chewed. I just can't find it. I didn't find where these wires, other wires up on. Like this one here comes from a key switch. I don't know what that's for. This white and black wire right here. It's chewed. I don't know what that's for. This black wire here is a hot wire, but I've tried to connect it to other places. So we might just have to leave it like it is, as long as the neutral switch is working. The reverse light works. We can just leave it like it is, and we know we got start. We shut that off. We have nothing. Shut this on. Start. So I'm probably going to clean it up a little bit before I put the air box back in, because I took the air box out. I'm probably going to pressure wash it, and then I'm going to pull the carburetor off so we can go through it, clean it. I know the floats are stuck because it filled the whole cylinder up full of gas, and when I took the plug out and turned it over, it sprayed gas everywhere. So that's good and dried out now. So I'm going to get to cleaning up some of this stuff, tucking back some of these wires, and probably going to take it out there and pressure wash it, and then we'll pull the carburetor off of it and go through it. Alright, so I got the carburetor off. We're going to tear this thing down and see exactly what is going on with it. I know the floats were stuck, and poured gas into the cylinders. Man, those screws are tight. Oh man, screws are gonna be rusted. No telling if this carburetor's ever been apart before. Oh, those things are super tight. See if we got a better screwdriver bit. I wouldn't think they'd be that tight, but they've been on there for years. Woo! Those are on there. Guess we have to get out man's best friend. Vice grips. Man, they will not come out of there. And you don't want to break them off. Probably going to have to put a little heat on them. They are on there solid. It's always something when you're having fun. Well, I'm gonna have to put a little heat on them. Get them off there. I'll try one more time. I'll go get the little propane torch. There's that one. It's always got to be one though. The last one's always got to be the hard one. I don't know if this one's gonna make it. I can tell already. I'm not gonna cut it. Almost need an impact driver. Maybe these would be better. If not, I don't even think heating them up is gonna get that one out. I have to take the doggone grinder and grind it down. That screw is rusted solid. See if we can get a hammer and a small punch. I think it might have turned. I think not. I'm just gonna take the grinder, just whack it off of there. It's pretty much rusted in there really good. I've already stripped it, trying to get it with the vice grips. So I get out the other man's best friend, good old grinder. Now this don't get it off, I'm really gonna be in trouble. But let's see what happens now. Ground it off flat. Oh yeah. Ew. It's got that caramel stuff in there. Ew, it's gummy. Floats are, look at that. They're stuck solid. I can hold it by the floats. So the needle and seat is all gummed up. Looks like somebody's been, oh, the float is actually stuck up in the floats are stuck, but the needle is free. That's what's wrong. I don't know if you can see the needle in there, but it's not even touching the floats. So now we ought to be able to just take a pair of vice grips and get the rest of that screw out. It should be hot enough now. Now I'll dig up another screw for it. Come right on out of there. There. Didn't hurt the bowl at all. Just kind of ground it a little bit. Nothing major though. Alright. So, I guess we'll get this idle screw out of there. I guess we're going to try and soak this carb and see what we can do with it. If not, I'll just buy one for it. Almost lost that. So we need to get out this main jet. That looks crusty. There's the main. One of the main jets. Washer. I've never seen a float stick like that before. Just, it's not even touching the needle. And I gotta get the needle out of there. I'm just gonna move. Don't want to break that gas inlet tube. I have had these get stuck in there and wouldn't come out. You have to soak the carburetor with the floats. Looks like that's one of them. Let me put it over here in the vise right quick. Y'all bear with me for a minute. So I don't know if that's going to be pretty. Good thing about having a vise. Man, that pin does not want to come out of there. This carburetor's playing dirty, which it is. brake cleaner on there. Ah, that stupid pin's gonna fight me all the way out. There's the floats. They all dirty. Here's the needle. Good thing it don't have one of those rubber tips on it. Usually they dry rot. Pull the seat out. Surprised it's gonna come out of there. Ew, that is dirty. Good thing about these seats on here, they have like a little filter to keep the trash from getting to the needle. Alright, so now we need to get the pallet jet out. What I normally do is just screw the I just normally screw this jet back inside the pallet jet. Just barely get some threads and then tap it with a hammer. You see it go down. And you probably can screw it up a little more. Should fall right out of there. You have to be careful because this is plastic on this one. Most of them are aluminum. But we got to get the needle out first, the diaphragm. So that's loose. So now I got to get a small screwdriver. Those usually don't come out. That is your, I think that's the idle jet, I believe. Little jet right here. And it screws in that little hole right there. There's the air screw right there, which I really hate messing with because it's already set, but I will pull it out. I'm just going to try and count the turns. So I'll count the turns and then we'll pull it out of there, because I really hate messing with them. Because once you get the air screw out of sync, you gotta remember how many turns. So I'm gonna go in 1, 2, 3, 4. So it looks like it's at 4. So we'll turn it all the way in, then come out 4. Some of them have a spring and a washer back there. And a little teeny tiny O-ring. There's the spring. There's the air screw. It's got like a needle on it. And I guess I'll take the pick. Try and grab hold to it and get it out of there. Yep. There's a little, I don't know if you can see that, I don't want to drop it and lose it. It's a little O-ring and a little washer. O-ring in first. Alright, so now we're going to flip it over and I'm going to take out the diaphragm. I can do this. Crushing the carburetor. These screws might be rusted up too, so you never know. Oh, man. Now this is the diaphragm with the slide connected to it. I used to hate building motorcycle carburetors. The old motorcycles with the 4 carburetors. You had to take them all the way apart from they're on like a piece of metal. And all 4 of them are kind of connected together in a row. You know, they're like 4. I'll get my hands there. And you have to take each one of them apart and break them all down. Then you put them back on. Then you have to sync them all where they open the throttle shafts at the same time. Major pain. That thing is dirty. So there's the diaphragm with the slider. That was crispy, but it's still soft. It don't have any I don't see any holes in it or nothing. Sometimes you never get them to seal again once you take them out. The slider goes in there. So now we are stripped down to, there's one jet in there. It's hiding in there. We need to get it out. That'll be it. We'll be ready to soak it, and oh, we gotta get the main jet out. We got a jet right here. Gotta remember where this stuff goes. Yeah. So now we can get the main jet out. Should just slide right out of there because I already had tapped it. Should come right out of there. It's down in the middle. There's the main jet there. It's got some gummy gum on it, and they have little bitty holes on the sides of them where the fuel pours through as your needle of your slide goes through there. Oop. We don't want to lose those pieces. There's actually a spring that holds that down. We'll just put the spring in there. But as it goes through, as it raises, the fuel comes through there. So those holes has got to be clean. Some little bitty pinholes, as you can see, those are they're all clogged up. So I don't have the luxury of a ultrasonic cleaner, but I do have shim dip. I'll get me one someday. I don't do enough carburetors to have an ultrasonic cleaner. Brand new can. Even comes with a little cool little basket that you can put your parts in. So we'll put, I don't want to put that in there. Put all the little jets in there. I don't want to put that in there. It's actually safe. You can put the floats in there. It's not going to hurt it. Oh, we got to get the bowl of the carburetor, which the floats is probably going to float around anyway. I've soaked them before and it won't hurt them. It's got that little gasket on there. I might just do good just, man, look how that gas turned white. I might just do good just cleaning that out. Still disturbing that gasket, because usually they break. Oh, we got one more jet. We got the top of the main jet. Yeah, we'll clean the bowl out by hand, but as for the stripped down carburetor, it's going in a dip. Well, I'll be dipped. As Vice Script Garage says, that'll help hold the floats down. We'll let that soak probably for a day. Whenever I get back to it, probably a day. And then we'll get it out and we will put it back together. So fingers crossed the carburetor works out. If it don't, I'll just buy one. So after letting the carb soak for a couple days, got it all cleaned up and it's ready to go back on the four-wheeler. Tomorrow, which might be late, the fuel petcock and our oil filter, air filter, and new spark plug is supposed to arrive. So hopefully we can get that before it's too late, and I'll be able to throw that on and change the oil and crank it up and see how it's going to run. So I'm draining the oil. This thing ain't never had an oil change done on it. The drain screw is right up under the frame here, and this is where the oil filter goes. And I found that you have to take the oil cap loose a little bit, and that'll allow it to start draining out of there pretty fast. I guess because it has like an air pocket in the engine. See how it start coming out faster? And you'll see the oil starting to disappear out the glass. Before it would just trickle out, and I was like, this gotta be the drain screw up under there. I don't know if you can see the housing. I'll show it to you once the thing gets dry. But I took the cap loose and it just really started pouring out here. But you have to remove the rear wheel, jack it up, and you'll be able to get to everything the way Suzuki designed this thing, the engine sits way back in the frame, so you have to work on it back here. So it's really flying out of there now, but you can see here's the oil filter. It ain't never been changed. Look like if it has, it probably was new. But this thing holds a lot of oil. It's been draining for a while. I'll say at least 2.5 quarts, or maybe 3. So I'm gonna let it finish draining here. Actually, you can get to the drain screw with a wrench. They kind of want you to take this skid plate off up under there, but you can get a wrench in there with the open end. You can get that nut loose. I wish it have stopped draining, so show you where the drain screw is if you're not too familiar with one of these quad runners. But it is just pouring out of there. I wonder did they have too much oil in it, because before the glass it was just totally black. So I'm wondering did they had put too much oil in it. But you put the oil in it right here at the rear. So any day now. But I'll let it finish draining. I don't want to bore you guys with this part, and we'll go from there. So after letting the oil drain for about 30 minutes, I finally got it to drain out. There's the drain screw right there. And it's kind of, see how it's kind of over this skid plate. If they would have cut that skid plate back just a little bit, you can really get to it with a socket. I didn't feel like trying to take this skid plate off because I was scared the 10mm screws might be stripped or rusted to the frame. You can see one of the screws right there. So I decided to just take a wrench, and you can take a wrench, you can go through the frame here. Get it back in there now. You can go through the frame. You can go right over to it. Gotta use the open end though. Try to use a closed end, it wouldn't work. See, I'm on it right now. You can get it, break it loose, and then you can just take your fingers and screw it out. Might take 2 hands to put it back in there, but you have to start it and then you get it up in there. Or you can just try and take the skid plate out. But you can see the oil filter is now back in. I don't know what this screw right here is for. Maybe you take it loose to let the air pocket out so the oil can drain faster, because it would not drain fast until I took the filler cap off. Like I said, I don't know what that's for, but there's your little eyeglass. So you might as well leave the wheel off while you put the oil in it. Just make sure the four-wheeler is kind of level. I mean, you can leave the wheel on it if you want to. It's just kind of hard to see because you got to put the oil in the back of the four-wheeler, which is weird. But anyway, we'll get some oil in it, and I got to change the fuel petcock, which is right there. That's the gas tank. It's got 2 screws, so I'm going to leave the gas tank in it and just put the new one in instead of having to pull all the plastics off and pull the whole gas tank off, flip it over. Hopefully I can get it to. It looks easy, but like I say, it's easier said than done on some stuff. But all right, we'll move it on. So we're going to add the oil. I got it on the ground as level as I can without the wheel on it. It's easier to put the oil in without the wheel on it. And we'll just pour it in there, and you should see the oil start coming through the glass. I think it's easier this way. So I'm already on the quart and a half. I think this thing holds about at least 3-4 quarts. So I drained out a lot of oil. So this would be second full quart. I had a half a quart already. And it's still not registering in the glass. Well, there it is. It's coming. So it takes 2.5 quarts. I think it had more than that in it because you couldn't even see the glass. It should have some lines there. I think the low mark is there and the high mark is right here where my finger is. So it's kind of like in between. It probably needs like a little tad more oil. I have to grab another quart. But like I said, it's easier if you just take the wheel off. Then you can be able to pour it in there and all that good stuff. So I'll put a little bit tad more oil in it and good to go. Alright, we're going to remove. Sorry, I was trying to get my balance going. We're going to remove this old fuel Petcock because it's no good. And luckily it's in an easy spot where I can pull it out. It's 2 screws. And it's out. Now, this thing has got the reserve and on filter at the end of it, but the longest one that's supposed to be in there is stuck in the gas tank. It's broke off, and I don't think I can get it out of there. I'm not really too worried about it because it's not going to hurt anything as far as the fuel delivery. So I'm not going to worry about it. I'll show you what I'm talking about. Like this one here has got this long and short tube. One of them is for reserve and one of them is for on. Well, the longest one that's supposed to be on here, I seen it broke off and it's laying in the tank. So, like I say, it's not going to hurt anything. Oh man, they don't give you a gasket with it? What kind of... Oh, yeah, they do. I thought it wasn't a gasket with it. I was like, what kind of mess is that? So, got the gasket. Quick fix. So we'll stick it back in there like so, and take a screwdriver. Just one screw, and then we got to put the other screw up there. Hook our fuel lines up, which this one is kind of in a bad spot. thinking I might want to hook that fuel line up first, because I think it's going to be kind of hard to get to. Because this fuel line's like back here. It's at an angle. So I'll say we hook this up first. Put a little clamp on there. If it'll fit back on there now. Can't get the clamp back on there. Gotta be careful, I don't want to break it. It's kind of in a tight spot. Trying to get the we'll have to come up with a different type of clamping system there. That little squeeze clamp is not wanting to bypass. Oh, it's made on the, oh no, it ain't. Probably just put like a small zip tie on it, because the way this one's made, you can't get a clamp around there. I don't think you're ever going to be able to get a clamp on there. Let me get a small zip tie. Don't know if this is gonna work. That hose is so tied up on there, the way they got it turned, that that won't turn either. I really hate to not put a hose clamp on there. That original clamp is not gonna work. Let's see if we can do it like this. I can thread it down there. Sorry it's taking me so long, but I can't get the stupid. Might work there. I'm gonna have to cut it there. I tried every which in the way. I think it'll be alright. Now I'm gonna have a problem getting this back up there. That is not gonna work. The hose is so short, I can't pull it to get it. I don't want to break this new Petcock. Okay, that's not going to work. Ah, the filter fell out. I think they're just pressed in there. That's what happened to the other one. I knew that was going to happen. I can't get the stupid zip tie off here. So basically, they just press inside of the Petcock. Yeah, I think we'll be running this without a clamp. I don't know if I can turn this nozzle. Nope, that's not gonna turn. Well, I guess we won't have a clamp on there, ladies and gentlemen, because there's no room between there. So if it starts leaking, then I'll just go down in flames. But it's stupid because you can't get the hose on there. It's like it's supposed to be facing outwards. It's supposed to be straight up and down like this one. And there's no way to turn it. So after wrestling trying to get the fuel line on the new Petcock, the difference is that you see this one's kind of like at an angle facing that way, and this one is straight up, and there's not enough room to get a clamp around it because the hose has got to squeeze between the backside of the housing and going on the tube. So what I hate to do, I don't want to do, is just take these apart, put all the new parts over in the old one, and use it, because I tried to turn this tube right here and it's pressed in there and it will not move, and it probably will break the housing. I don't know if it's pressed or I don't know. I tried to move it with some pliers. I'm gonna put it in the vise and see. And nope, it won't move. So we're just gonna have to take apart both of these, and I'll just put the diaphragm out of the new one in the old housing because it's not gonna work. That's just how it is when you buy aftermarket stuff. I mean, who knows, one you buy from Suzuki might have the same issue, but these fit so many different bikes. So basically all it is a diaphragm. That one's like really soft. It's really worn. So hopefully the other one is the same. It's got some bad gas in there. Probably want to spray that out. So I cleaned it out a little bit. So I guess we're going to change the front stuff too. If we're going to do it, we're going to go all the way in. There's no turning back. That way we know that everything's gonna work out. So everything in there looks good. It's just like it's a O-ring. So we're gonna get that out of there. It's like a gasket. Little rubber. Looks like a face. And there's an O-ring in there. So we'll clean this out. Pull all the dirt off of it. So that's all nice and clean. That's just gonna be. So I guess we'll start here. We'll pull that off. It comes out of there pretty easy. Now this one doesn't have an O-ring that goes around the outside, which is weird. Should we put that O-ring in there? Maybe they forgot to put it in there. Maybe it would leak. I really hate taking apart brand new parts. That is not good. So this O-ring was in the old one, but the new one didn't have that. I don't know why, but we're going to stick it back in there. That could have caused the issue. We'll even put the newer faceplate on. Well, it turns, but will it work? Okay, let's flip this dude over. Let's take out this rear diaphragm. And get these swapped. Everything appears to be the same. Don't want to break nothing. Whoop! That flipped off there real fast. Well, at least the diaphragm and the spring stuck to it. Now we can just easily, gingerly. Everything looks the same. Only thing different with this one, yeah, it's the same. Gingerly put that back on there. We'll just put the whole back side of it. Then you have to remove it. That's what I like. Put the screws back in. Now we can put that hose on with ease and use the original Petcock or shut-off valve, on and off valve, fuel valve, whatever you want to call it. I wonder if they sell a rebuild kit for these things. Alright, now we need to swap that little gasket because this one's flattened out. So we need to pick it up out of there. Take our fresh brand new one out. Which is the same. Man, once you get them in there, they won't come out. Swap it over to here. Now I do see a difference. This one has some little notches that held the gasket. It's just be the smallest things. And this one's completely smooth. But I think once we get it up there, I think it's going to smush itself in there. We could, yeah, that thing's too flat. We can go. See, it's always got to be something different. Now I know this will just pop out. And it actually fits in this one tighter. Now this other one on the other hand, I don't know if it'll come out of there safely. No, we're going to destroy that. We'll just leave that one in there because it's still in good shape. I don't want to risk breaking it off in there and cause damage, so we'll just leave it like that. So this one, the old body, new parts, is ready to go on. Okay, so I finally got the fuel Petcock on. We're going to see where she fire up finally. Hopefully, to crank right up. No issues. I think I need to put it on. Make sure the plug is in there still. I think I need to put it on PRI. I think that's supposed to prime it. Turn it on for a second. I guess that's what PRI is for. How about we just put it on reserve? All right, choke on. Here we go. Might have to spray something in it, get her going. Front for a second. Come on, Betsy. Turn the choke off. Hopefully we're getting gas up there. I don't think we're getting any fuel. There's two vacuum lines that go to the carburetor. One of them is for the prime or the vacuum pump. And the other one, I don't know where they go. I'm gonna take this fuel line off to make sure we're getting some gas. I think that's what our problem is. Not getting any fuel to the carburetor. Ugh. Nothing. So I'm gonna try and swap these vacuum lines because I don't remember which one went where. I'm thinking I had it hooked right. It's gotta be wrong. No gas coming out. I think they were hooked correctly in the beginning. Turns over good. Can't tell which one is vacuum and which one ain't. So we got the hoses hooked up right. I put my tongue on the hose. I can feel the vacuum pulling, but we don't have fuel coming out. Hopefully our Petcock works. No gas, no freight on. Look in the tank. See how much gas we got in there. It's right over the top of it, so we should be getting fuel coming out. Unless this fuel line is stopped up going to the carburetor, which I hope it ain't. Let's see if we can get it to run. Maybe we'll pick up enough vacuum. Not getting any fuel coming out. So I'm gonna have to pull that line off and check it and make sure it's not stopped up. And then we'll give it a retry. So I took the fuel line off of the Petcock and spun it over. And the fuel Petcock will spray gas out. So I thought maybe it was this hose that comes from the Petcock to the carburetor, so I took it off the carburetor, which was already off, and I blew through it, and we got air traveling all the way through. So I got to looking, there's some kind of fuel pump or something. I don't know what this is. I don't know if that's a fuel pump or a valve or something, but that's actually where the fuel line goes. And for some reason, I blew through, so I guess it blows through this way. It's got 3 hoses on it. So I'm thinking this is some kind of vacuum pump. I thought maybe it just had just a hose coming from the carburetor to the Petcock. There's some kind of vacuum operated fuel pump, I believe. So I'm thinking that might be stopped up or not working, full of bad gas or something. But we know that our Petcock works. As soon as you turn it over, it sprays gas out. So I guess we need to remove that thing. This stuff is not easy to get to. I had to pull this inner fender out. That fuel line there. So I don't know where that one's running. Got so much crap back here. So that looks like a vacuum line. So this fuel line here goes around and goes to the Petcock. So we need to see, do we got gas traveling from here, from the Petcock up to here. Let's just pull it off of here. And we'll spin it over. Let's see what we got. I don't have any gas coming up from there, which there. So this is some kind of secondary vacuum pump, because this line here goes up under the tank straight to the carburetor, and this line here goes to the Petcock. Then there's a small vacuum line on the back side of it. Which I would have to remove it. I have to see, are we getting vacuum there? So I know we're getting vacuum going to the Petcock. So I'm gonna pull this pump, whatever this is, off and check it out. and Suzuki will figure it out. So I removed this. This is actually a vacuum pump. That's what pumps the fuel up from the Petcock to the carburetor. So I thought it just had just the vacuum pumping the Petcock, but actually it has a vacuum operated fuel pump on it too. So we're going to take this apart, take a look in it, see how the diaphragm looks. Now I can blow straight through it, but it's not pumping the gas. It's supposed to help pump that gas up to the carburetor. So if the diaphragm ain't doing what it's supposed to do, it ain't gonna work. I don't know why they put it on there in the first place. Typical stuff. Diaphragm don't look bad. It's got some carb cleaner in it where I sprayed through. So it's got some kind of little gunk in there. See what the back of it looks like. This is going to be the main diaphragm. Actually, it's actually working. I don't see anything wrong with it yet. It's got some little rust back here, but the diaphragm is soft. It's not stopped up, so I don't know what the problem can be. I guess we can stick it back on there and check our vacuum going to it. The diaphragm's not ripped. That's got me pretty puzzled. I don't know what those little things in here are for. Look like there's a check valve in there. I don't know if you can see that. It's like got a spring and a ball. That's not stopped up. So I guess I just throw it back together. We'll put it back on there and try it again. Maybe this spring on the backside, maybe that was hung up or something. I don't know. But we'll stick her back together. Hope I don't get this wrong. It's supposed to go on like like that. It's a weird setup. Oh, we'll put it back together. I don't know what that is, some kind of rust. Maybe they were stuck. It's like to go like that. So I'm going to stick this back together and then we'll stick it back on there now that we took it apart. Maybe it'll start working. So what I did, I got the old clickety-clack fuel pump out and got it ran to the carburetor back here. And I got the fuel line just going into the gas tank. And I put the diaphragm vacuum pump back on. So I'm gonna see what it run off of the electric fuel pump. And if it does, then hopefully it'll start picking up gas from the vacuum pump, and then we can hook it back up regular, the way it's supposed to be. We'll call this up, let's see what happens. Still not picking up gas coming from the vacuum pump. Problem happening is it won't idle down because when I put the carburetor back on there, I turned the idle screw the wrong way. Let's see, can we get it to turn? Other than that, the engine sounds real good. Let's see what she does now. And probably that vacuum pump is no good. Should be pumping fuel out of here right now. Strange. Might just have to run an electric fuel pump on it. Now, I'm going to have to find out why we're not pumping fuel up to the carburetor. It could be this fuel pump up here, but I know if I take the pump off the Petcock, I take the hose off of it, and spin it over, it sprays gas out of the Petcock, but it's not pumping it up to the fuel pump that's up under the fender. So I believe I'm just going to order one of those. I can feel it pulsating though. I don't know why it's not working. All the fuel lines are clear, but I guess I might play around with it a little bit, and if that don't work, we'll just order a new pump. But it does run, it goes in gear. He said it had a problem with it going in reverse. But as you can see, I put it in reverse and it did move. Now I don't know, we need to be on it to really make it move. And maybe there's something wrong with the gears or something, but it clicked right in. Matter of fact, let's just give it a little test. Move all our tools. That way we'll be sure that it does go in reverse. we'll just bag her up a little bit, and we should be able to really find out how reverse works. Move the old XT out of the way. In case things get screwy. Let's hook our pump back up. I think it's running out of gas. But yeah, it goes in gear, so I don't see a problem with reverse. So I'm gonna try to figure out what's up with the fuel pump issue, and then get this thing out and cruise it around. So our fuel pump finally came in for the quad runner. Came in and it says fuel pump. It's like a part number X002NDZ63T. Focus in on that. So let's open it up and see exactly what it is. It should be the correct fuel pump for this model. Sure know how to pack it. Hopefully this fixes our fuel delivery problem. Oh, it comes with 2 clamps. Yeah, package. And there it is. Brand new. Got the vacuum on it. So I'm gonna get this installed and hook everything up, and we'll see. Okay, so now I got the fuel pump installed up under there. Now let's see if we get any fuel coming out. Hopefully we do. in good shape now, boys. So just that back end part is bad. So now I just got to put the air box in it. Chicken dinner. There's the fuel pump right there under the fender. Still gonna probably need some fine tuning, but I think it'll work better when I get the air box on. So now, let's put the air box back together. See, can we ride this thing, finally. Well, I got a small problem. I think the intake boot has a crack in it. I made it from like way down there up to here, and it just went wide open. And I took the seat off, and I checked the throttle cable. If I idle it down, it'll idle down, but as soon as you hit the gas, it comes right back up. Started. Next, we're gonna see how good the four-wheel drive works. Got a real steep hill over there to take it on. Right now I got it in two-wheel drive and it's in high range. So let's go see what the four-wheel drive looks like. This is gonna be hilarious. Come along. needs some fine tuning. Like I said, that intake boot is leaking bad, and I can idle it up where it's supposed to be. As soon as I hit the gas, it idles up higher, and I seen the crack in the boot. But this is a pretty steep hill. I had to come around that rock, and a couple of those railroad ties that what is that, a fake foot? What is that? It's a mannequin foot? Prosthetic foot? What is that? But anyway, had to come around these railroad ties here. That was what's slowing me down. I kind of rot it and be out of the way. But like I say, that's a pretty good hill. It pulled pretty good in 4-wheel drive. But like I say, I'm gonna get an intake boot for it. Probably have to fine tune the carb a little bit more. But other than that, for 250, it's got plenty of good power. Now, I had it in low and 4-wheel drive, but it's a good little cruiser 4-wheel. It'll get out and cruise around on through the trails or do some light duty work. So I'm gonna play around a little bit more and see what she'll do. Alright, I've moved to this end of the railroad tracks. Let's see what they do on this little hill right here. Well, anyway, folks, that's going to be it on the quad runner. It's starting to get dark out here. I don't want to get out here. This thing fouls a plug or something and be stranded. All the lights work. So I'm gonna grab an intake boot for it and probably do some more fine tuning on it. I think it's gonna be all right. Like I say, if I hit the gas right now, it's gonna idle up super high, sucking air. And I seen that crack in the intake boot a little while ago. So anyway, that's gonna be it for right now. You guys like, share, subscribe. You can also check me out on Facebook. It's RPM Auto Motor Facebook page. And also you can hit me up at rpmauto780 at yahoo.com. You got any questions or anything? Deals? And thanks for your support, subscribing and leaving comments. I'll try and get to all the comments I can when I can. Tend to get busy and I don't just check it, but when I do, I'll try and give you guys an answer to the question. So anyway, I'm going to get out of here because it is really starting to get dark. And alright, so I'll let y'all later. Well, I got it back here to the shop and I realized this vacuum line that goes to the Petcock had backed off. I guess I knocked it off when I was putting the air box on. I didn't realize it, either that or I knocked it off when I was idling it up. And man, she runs beautiful now. I put it on. So it was sucking air through this vacuum line right here. It's halfway off. But that boot does have some cracks in it, some light cracks. I don't know if you can see it down in there. It has some light cracks right around the edge. I sprayed some brake cleaner at it and it didn't idle up high, but I know that it's cracked. But man, she's running good now. It just had a vacuum leak. That's what it was. Oh, motor sounds good. So anyway, guys, I figured that out. And like I said, y'all just stay tuned and need more to come.